Well, Katie, this is really exciting for me to be able to interview you this way. We've had students come through who already knew they wanted to be a chiropractor that's intern for us and then eventually going to chiropractic school. What we have never had is someone who came in, worked for us, thinking they were going to do something else, and then later decided, wow, you know what? I want to go to chiropractic school. Going to my first question is, what were your career goals when you started working with us?
When I first started working at the office, I was a fresh college graduate. So I had just earned my bachelor's degree and I had always been set on doing something in the hospital. For a very long time, my heart was set on PA, which is physician assistant. And then after a little bit of deeper consideration, I also took into account that nursing would be a great route for me, potentially becoming an NP. And I always thought that was the route that I would be taking. But after working here for some time, that changed for me.
Wow, okay. When you first came into our office, just walking in after the interview, after we've talked, what were your expectations and how has it really evolved over time? Like from the beginning, what did you even expect this position was going to be?
Chiropractic was something that I wasn't familiar with before coming into this office. I had gotten my very first adjustment in this office, so that's something special to me. But I think walking into any kind of clinical setting where there's doctors involved, I came in with the expectation that it would work.
Early on when you first started, think back a year. What was like a typical day before when you first started, like first month? What was it like? Like just learning the ropes and everything?
Yeah, I think it was very educational. This is a different approach to health and well-being. And to me, that was something that I had mentioned is very unfamiliar. In undergraduate, I studied a lot of pre-med. So it's a little bit of a different approach for chiropractic. Right. There are definitely some parallels there, but it's its own world, truly. And I just soaked it all in sponge. To me, it was really fun because this is a place where very quickly I got to become really close with all of my team members. I got to create bonds with our patients that we see multiple times a week or at least once a week. I got to work on my personal skills. I got to work on my communication skills. And most importantly, I got to work on my caregiving skills, way that I didn't know I could do. So that's what the first month looked like for me. A lot of practicing, a lot of getting to know people, and a lot of just getting used to the flow of the office.
Because I would imagine when you were in pre-med, the things that you learned there are very technical, very science-based, but it is the compassion. And we just had a meeting on it this morning on how important it is to really communicate with the patient and make sure they felt heard.
Absolutely,
right?
Yes.
Katie, was there a moment where working with the patient, if you can think back this last year, was there a moment early on where you felt like, wow, that changed my perspective of what working in this office is like in terms of chiropractic, the holistic things that we do here? Can you think of one?
I think it hit me pretty early.
Really?
Yes. So working in this office aligns with my personal lifestyle a lot. I really value health and wellness from more of a holistic approach. And so stepping into this office, I felt right at home. I think the moment that I realized maybe chiropractic is something that I value more than I thought is when we had a patient who actually told me the progress that they had been feeling and what their story was like before stepping into the office. So this was a patient that began care before I started here, and she would visit me a lot. She still does, and she's in here at least once a week. And she told me when she first came into the office, she was basically stripped of everything that she enjoyed doing in life. And coming here, she felt hopeless, but she was seeking this place as a last resort, and it's what worked for her. And that's why she still hangs around with us. She's gotten her life back. She gets to do what she enjoys, what makes her happy. And to me, even being a fraction of that impact meant the world to me. And I think that's when I knew I wanted to be a bigger part of this. I want to give this to people more than I do now.
And you mentioned earlier that it aligns with your values and your way of health and natural healing. Where did that come from? Did they raise you that way? Does that run in the family, or was that something you picked up on your own? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, my parents, when they were around my age, they lived a very similar lifestyle, but I think having kids changes a lot for people. I can't speak from experience, but that's always what I've heard. And growing up, they always did their very best to craft a healthy lifestyle for us. We were always in sports. We were always doing extracurricular activities, staying involved in the community, and staying out of trouble, I think, was the biggest thing for them. But when I went to college, I was deathly scared of what they call the freshman 15, which is weight that you would gain when you go to college. It's a shift in your life and your day-to-day schedule. I sought counsel from my older brother, who was in his final year of college when I started college. And he took me to the gym. He said, you know what, Katie, let's just introduce you to this space. Let me teach you about eating. Let's take this step by step and I can show you the ropes here. And so he was a heavy weightlifter, so for me that was really difficult.
You were getting trained by a bodybuilder.
Yeah, so I followed into his footsteps and then found my own path at the same time. And ever since the very beginning of college, I've taken the time to learn more about nutrition, to learn more about good health, what it means to just live a holistic lifestyle and really care about what you put in your body and the functionality of your body. That's something that I prioritize on a day-to-day basis through exercise and nutrition and mental well-being as well, just having a sound mind. And I think being here also aligns with that. So,
does your brother know how much of an impact he had in your life and your health? Does he know that?
I don't think he does.
He will after watching this video.
I don't think he does. He inspired me a lot. He was actually my inspiration to study science in school.
Wow.
My inspiration to be healthy, and he's very ambitious with his career, and I find that extremely inspirational as well. So I was gifted with a great older brother.
How much older is he?
He's 2 years older than me.
Just 2 years older?
Yeah.
Wow. You should let him know. So Katie, I didn't even find out that you wanted to be a chiropractor until you came back one weekend in August and you says, Dr. Tam, I just went to the wave. And I said, wait, like the chiropractic wave where you caught a wave? I mean, because the wave is a chiropractic West Coast seminar. It's a big seminar, right? I had no idea you were even interested until you told me you went to the wave. So even before you went to the wave, you probably talked to Dr. G, right? How was the support you've gotten from him before you went to the wave? After we've chatted, what was the support you had since you've decided you were going to chiropractic school?
I think that the support started even before I decided to go to chiropractic school. All of the doctors here knew that I had some kind of degree in science, and they were like, oh, you're intelligent, we know that you're smart, we can see your work ethic. And they always told me you'd make a great chiropractor if you ever decided to go down that route.
Push her a little bit. Throw in little sprinkles here and there.
Yeah. So they always made mention of that multiple times, and I always appreciated the compliment, but in my mind I was so beelined to go to PA school or nursing school. And so when I started the process of applying to those schools and hopefully getting accepted, I realized that nothing was quite working out for me, and nothing was aligning with me. And so I think I was like, you know what, let me look into chiropractic a little bit more. I know I love working here. I know I love the results that I see here, and I love what I do here. So let me consider this a little bit more. And that's when I went to Dr. G and I was like, hey, you know what? I think I'm gonna inquire to the school.
When was this?
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
This was probably...
We haven't even talked about this yet. So when was it?
Yeah. This was probably June.
June.
Or July.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, hop on a call with somebody. If you have any questions, you can always ask me, Dr. Tam, and just let us know what kind of guidance we can give you. And so I inquired online and got a phone call right away, and I was invited to start the next quarter, which I was actually unable to do. but I needed to give it a little bit more thought. And so I submitted an application, and I did an interview the following week, and got great news from that I was accepted into the school. And I needed to consider it a little bit more. This was a really big commitment for me to make. So that's when I decided to go to the Discovery at the Wave and get a little bit more information. And so throughout that whole process, I think Dr. G was very supportive. Had you known, you probably would have been supportive too.
I was like, all of a sudden she came back from the wave.
Yeah. He was very supportive. He was always asking me how things were going, answering any questions that I had. And then when I finally made the decision and let the office know, hey guys, I'm taking this next step, I'm doing it. I felt like you guys really took me under your wing. And right away you were like, okay, well, you need to know this, this, and that, and we're going to show you this, we're going to tell you that. And I've just picked up little bits of information here and there ever since I let you guys know this is what I was doing. And so I felt extremely supported. I feel like I definitely have a little bit of an advantage going into school just because I've had experience here. I've gotten to work hand in hand with you guys, and any question that I have, you guys always answer. So I felt extremely supportive, and I feel prepared to go into school in a couple weeks here.
I wish I had the type of guidance you have had here for a whole year. You got to see hands-on what a high-level office functions like, so that when you go to school, you can actually see, okay, and I promise you, when you go to school, you'll hear people talk about experience that they've had, but very few would have had the experience that you have had, and the prep and what to do and when. And we're open that even though you're going through school, just give us a call, shoot us a text if certain things don't align right, or you're not sure about one versus another. Even though I graduated like 17, 18 years ago. But Dr. G graduated probably half the time. The experience of school has always been there. So we welcome that, even throughout your career as you go through school. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
At what point, Katie, did you thought that, you know what, I'm gonna take the leap and share your dreams with everyone, because you were deciding, right? What was that deciding factor? Tell me about that.
It comes from a very personal experience or experiences, wanting to go work in a hospital as some kind of position. That's always been a dream of mine. However, I've experienced the hospital in such a different way than what I've always dreamed of. As a patient, as a family member, as somebody just walking through the doors maybe to pick up a medication. It's never been my favorite place. And so I had to reflect on that. I was deciding what path I wanted to take and how I wanted to spend the rest of my life. And after losing my grandmother earlier this year, it wasn't the most pleasant experience, and it inspired me to take a different route, consider different directions. From that moment, I decided to just take a step away from the hospital lifestyle dream and consider other options. And I'm already here. I'm in the world of chiropractic at the moment. And that's when I decided I'm going to take this a little bit more serious. I had no idea what else I would really want to do. And so I was like, well, I'm here. Let me utilize this resource that I have basically on a platter to me, and let's see how this goes. And so I gave it a lot of thought. I sought counsel with my family members, and they've supported me through every decision that I made. This is not something I've ever talked about. It's not something I've ever dreamed of until I think I started seeing the results that we see here and the impact that's made on people's lives in and out of this office. And I decided, you know what? The hospital isn't something I'm interested in anymore. It's not aligning with my lifestyle. The schools that I thought I wanted to go to aren't working out for me. So let's take this leap of faith and When I applied to chiropractic school, everything was very urgent and prompt. They valued me as a prospective student. Everything just worked so smoothly and I fell right into place, and I think that whatever you want to call it is a sign, or whatever you might want to say.
Yep.
I think it was a really good indication that's where I was meant to be. And now that I've committed to it, I feel a lot more connected to chiropractic, and I'm very anxious and excited to learn. And I think that being here had a big factor.
Had you never worked here, you would never have been even exposed
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you this. When you first went to your family members, did any of them give you like pushback? Whoa, what are you thinking? Or were they all supportive from the get-go? And who was the most supportive?
I think the great thing about the family that I have is supportive no matter what. I've had some crazy decisions that I've made, and they've supported me through it all. And somehow we have a very triumphant ending to it. And so when I came to my family and I said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna pursue this. They're like, okay, so what does this mean? Does this mean everything else is out the door? And I told them, yes, that was the decision that I made. And of course they were shocked by it, but they were also so excited for me. I think I went a pretty good distance in the whole experience of applying before I even told anybody.
Yeah.
I told them, I'm admitted, I'm committing to it, we're doing this. And they're like, you know what? Okay, let's do this thing.
Wow.
And they didn't give me any pushback. They always supported everything that I do. They're excited for me. They did ask me if working here had a big influence in it. And of course I said, yes, it does. They know that I've had a very supportive team here. Even before I was considering chiropractic, everyone has always been so supportive of me. And so they were excited to hear that being here is something that directed me to where I was meant to be, and that what I thought would be a stepping stone of a position has actually led me to what I meant to do, my purpose.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very inspiring. And I know that the natural health in the chiropractic field will be blessed to have you as a doctor. And we'll be calling you Dr. Katie in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for sharing your story, Katie.
Thank you.
And it's been a blessing to be able to work with you and for us to train our next team member. I can't wait to see what you're going to be able to do and achieve. And yeah, never fail to contact us again. And who knows, we may be working together later on. You never know. Thank you.
Thank you.